Hey, I'm actually happy about Ben Affleck being cast as the new Batman. This being said, moving on. Okay, I have to settle this problem once and for all. Online fandom seems to have decided a verdict on the everlasting question of who would win between Superman and Batman. There are easy and understandable claims to Superman's complete physical superiority, which would inevitably lead him to win in a case of sudden tussle with Batman. This, I believe, is wrong. First, let me state that to me, theology is very much like comic book fandom. Starting from a sometimes questionable source material, fans and followers and commentators will debate forever on issues concerning entirely fictional characters. That is not to say I lack respect for theology. What it really means is that I love comic books and cartoons to the point that I, among many, have developed a religious fascination towards them. And so, before we even start looking into Batman and Superman's respective powers and characters, we have to look at the source material. I mentioned the Bible. If there's one confrontation that could remind us of a clash between Batman and Superman, it would probably be David and Goliath. There is no way in hell that David could beat Goliath. Goliath is much stronger. He's physically superior in every way, but David is smart and has a slingshot. So the story goes that David beats Goliath. I think that what David and Goliath can teach us is that a superior enemy on paper is not necessarily one that actually wins. On paper. If we were to take some comic book stories like scripture and maybe consider Frank Miller to be one of the major apostles of comicdom, we'd see that indeed, with proper planning and preparation, Batman would beat Superman. But what if there isn't proper planning? What if Batman doesn't have time to get out his kryptonite while Superman pummels him to death with super speed? Well, then he wouldn't be Batman and he wouldn't be Superman. It would basically be a strong Kryptonian against a guy in a batsuit. Writers in the DC universe have seemed to understand this fundamental difference between superpowers and personalities. If we were to compare comic books to politics, Superman would be pre-election Obama, the nationwide symbol of hope, symbolizing American optimism. Batman, on the other hand, would be much more like Kissinger, lurking in the shadows and fighting the ugly fights. Presidents come and go, but Kissinger had a long, nearly unchallenged rule in the nasty warfare of realpolitik. My conclusion is that if we respect the characters' personalities, which directly influence their own personal use of power, then Batman would win. Batman would have prepared for the fight as soon as he heard about the Kryptonian. Whereas the powerful boy from Kansas would have trusted his ally because that's just the kind of generous, beautiful soul that he is. Power is merely a tool. Its effect depends upon how one is prepared to use it. That is why, in my opinion, Batman wins. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Don't hesitate to leave a comment or develop your own theory about this epic battle.